Six-pack of questions now. We're calling it Watch Your Six on the two Thursday night games, and we start with Indiana and Ohio State. We'll take care of Minnesota and Buffalo in a little bit. When you look at Ohio State and you look at Kevin Wilson coming in, you look at the departure of guys like Curtis Samuel, how different will this Ohio State offense be in comparison to the one we saw in 2016?
Well, the one thing we have to remember is that when offensive coordinators get the job at Ohio State, they're running Urban Meyer's system. Now, what they can do is add a little wrinkle to the system, so it's not holistic change. But the one thing you can expect is the big play coming back to Ohio State football. You think about Richard Lego last year at Indiana, had 15 plays of over 14 yards, or over 40 yards. So that's significant, and that's what Ohio State wants to get back to. You go back to the national championship year when Devin Smith was the guy, catching that vertical pass. It really opened up what they could do offensively, puts a lot of pressure on the defense. You can't load the box with safeties to stop the run, and that is what was missing last year, really the last 2 years out of his offense. So I fully expect that Kevin Wilson, who is a dynamic play caller, by the way, will stretch the field vertically for this Ohio State offense.
I'm so glad you brought up the name Devin Smith, because so many people asked me after they won the national championship game, well, what's different? Why is this offense slow down? There were a lot of 50-50 balls that J.T. Barrett and Cardale Jones just threw up there, and Devin Smith came down with them. Ohio State didn't have that guy in the following couple of years. Let's look on the other side of the ball for Ohio State, because we're all talking about offense because of Kevin Wilson, because of J.T. Barrett. But you look at that Ohio State defensive line, and Stan, can't you make the argument that it may be the best, not just in the Big Ten, it may be the best in the country?
No question about it. In particular, from a depth perspective, when you think about, Bosa not starting on this team, that tells you just how good they are. So you think about their front four, the rush ends, the book ends, Hubbard, Lewis, Holmes, and Bosa. And two of those guys are coming off the bench. So that tells you right there that their depth is fantastic. And then in the interior, you got Sprinkle and Jones and Landers. These are guys that will hold it down against the run. They've got so much depth there that you'll see them even put defensive ends in the interior on passing downs. They call that the rushman. So yes, this defensive line is loaded. And by the way, they have to play really well this year because, again, they've got to replace 3 guys in the secondary, and that's going to be a tough job to do 3 consecutive years or so. If that defensive front could put more pressure on the quarterback, not allow big run plays on first down, that puts this defense in great position.
Hey, but like Glenn Mason always likes to say, a defensive backfield's best friend is a pass rush. Absolutely. And Ohio State will have the pass rush.